So just have some questions about, your process and your journey, and just get to know how things have been for you, Nick. So I was just curious, what was going on in your life before you decided to come work with me?
Well, I was separated about 2 months before. So I came in October, right? And I was separated in August, July. So because there was so many things weighing on me that I'm not sure if you remember, but I was sitting at my desk and I just kind of, I don't know, exploded, imploded, whatever I did, but I just started crying. And then all of these flashbacks from my childhood started coming out. And I thought he was the narcissist, so I kept looking up and looking up. So you know how your computers and your phones do their algorithm. So you kept coming up, and I said, screw it. I'll just, something actually talked about trauma. So I decided to look more into trauma. And then should I stay or should I go? And I'm like, wow, this really fits. So then I met up with Kim, and then, yeah. So I thought I was healed because I do what I do. And
Famous last words. I've already done the healing work. I'm done.
Yeah. So that's, where
So that's what was going on. You were just in a separation. And so how would you describe your state in 3 or 4 words before you started?
Big hot mess. Confused, just I was feeling like, I don't know what to do, like what's happening to me right now. So because I've been through a lot of relationships, I've been married, this is my second marriage. And all this time, the big N word, it's like.
Pointing the finger, weren't you?
Oh, for sure. So I got this whole book that I wrote in for all of the modules and things. And 2 of them really hit home. And that's where I cried for like days because I was like so unconscious for so long.
Yeah.
And I think
painful, isn't it, waking up?
So, yeah. And then all these flashbacks to where I just people over and treated them like shit. And I blame. And I'm like, wow. And you know what I realized, which is, and something that I wanted to bring up today was I noticed I only do it in my intimate relationships compared to my personal. Like my best friend didn't really know how insecure I was. So since doing this work, I have a way more authentic relationship with her because I'm able to open up even to those shadows, right? And then when the stories that I've made up in my head, these fantasies, and even still, I get glimpses every now and then.
It's part of it. They will always be there. Right. It's just dancing with them is different now.
Oh, for sure.
If you can see them, then they don't possess you. It's just using the tools you're able to repair. So we'll always have a shadow. That there's no fantasy that I'm going to one day completely be rid of it. It's just, am I willing to meet it and then call it out and just be authentic with it and repair?
Sometimes I argue.
Because I'm only human.
Because and I can see how people, like you had said, people fake it, right? I can see how they fake it and then they go back to the unconscious because it's more comfortable. Right?
Yeah.
It's so much more, it's just, recognizable and it's like, oh, I want to go back there, but no, I don't want to go back there because that's what it did for me. And right. So sometimes there's that argument.
That's one of the things I love most about kind of observing your process, Mick, is, you came in, it kind of was very confronting in the beginning, but you surrendered to it and you were open, and how willing you were to just take ownership. And that's really what it takes, is you had this deep sense of humility on the path. And that's all it is. Because we all have unconsciousness. It's like, the question is, how humble are you? How open are you to willing to take ownership of it? That's it. That's all it is, right? So I really admire that. So my question to you is, what made you decide to start working with me? What was it about me specifically Why me over someone else?
You know, like you said, in every freaking module is I've done the counseling, I've done the talk therapy. I was literally going to talk therapy, and it was actually an ex-coworker who I admire. She's amazing. We also do mediation and conflict mediation. But I was sitting there and I'm like looking at her going, this is not what I want. I didn't want answers, but I needed somebody to confront me, or for me to confront me. I needed something else. I needed answers. Why is this happening with all my relationships? I am the common denominator, you know? And yeah, I was through some significant trauma since who knows when. And I have developed all of these patterns, and I'm a flighter and fighter. And I didn't realize that until this. I'm like, damn, I pull them close and then I push them away. And I'm like, what the f is that for? What do I do that for? And then I run.
And then you play the victim.
Yeah.
Was there any big breakthroughs or epiphanies or anything you realized that changed everything for you?
Oh, everything has changed. Everything. I'm still working though. This is a lot of work.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's no finish line with our inner healing.
Specifically, I say no more. I put those boundaries in place because I'm a yes person. I'm a rescuer.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you right now, December 29th was the last time I was going to rescue my kids. He was stuck in Edmonton for 3 days because they decided that the weather was bad. And so I bailed him out, bought him a ticket so he can get to his girlfriend instead of having to sit there for 3 days. So I'm a rescuer. So this year, not this year, but from now on, I'm going to really make sure that I'm going to rescue myself. Yes.
Okay.
And I had watched, I forget which one, I think the Friday call about being your own best friend.
Yes.
And I thought, you know what? I have been such an to myself this whole time. And I have been I've been treating myself way better. You know, I look in the mirror, some of that work that we talked about, you know, looking at yourself, giving yourself really positive feedback in the mirror, self-talk, that self-gratitude, that kind of stuff. So putting boundaries in place, obviously recognizing my triggers. Some days I'm like, boom, 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 boom. It's like a freaking machete, like a machine gun. And then other days I just like, wow, this is just amazing. And I'm more conscious.
Beautiful.
Right. And the breath work is something that I've always pushed away. Like, that's crazy. Why would people do that? That kind of stuff. So
beautiful. So what's happened after that as a result of these shifts? What are you noticing? What's going on in your life right now, and your biggest win?
Well, the thing that my kids have actually come back to me, but we're really close, but they've been always guarded. I've noticed they've been disclosing more things to me.
Intimacy's gone up.
Oh, for sure. So my husband and I have not reconciled. We have discussed possible like we've been dating.
Oh.
Right. So
you started off separated, and now you started dating again.
Listen, that intimacy is just freaking amazing.
Really?
Because we were dead for 2 years.
So you needed the break. Wake up call happened. You started taking ownership with stuff.
Yeah.
And now the two of you are dating again, and there's like an actual connection that's happening. It's building.
Yes. It's amazing. We still have a lot to go. Like,
right.
And he's doing his own type of therapy that he's okay with. Like,
great.
I share with him everything that I've learned, and
wow.
He's really open to it. He actually started crying, and he's the crier, and he's very emotional. And he was just so happy for me.
Wow, he noticed a difference in you.
Oh yeah. And again, of course, he's guarded because he's like, oh, I don't know if is this real?
I don't know if it's real. I don't know if I trust you.
Yep. All that stuff.
Just this. No, yeah. So just keep at it. Remember, it's not about reconciling. It's about shifting who you're being, regardless if he's in the picture or not. And that's when it really happens. It's when it's not about the reconciliation. It's about who you're becoming.
100%.
Beautiful.
100%. Yeah.
And how do you feel right now in 3 or 4 different words compared to where you were when we first started?
Oh, I feel more conscious. That's, I was driving home from work today, thinking about our call and going, oh, what can I say about how I'm feeling now compared to before? I'm just feeling
aware.
Just more like so aware. And I get things like even in my job, because I kind of do this on a day-to-day with people and that kind of stuff. And I'm more aware. And you know what? I shut up more.
So what would you say to somebody who's kind of on the fence about doing the program and who's got similar stuff? Who do you think would benefit most from the program?
Who specifically? Like, I think everybody. I think everybody who's been through absolutely little, small, medium, or large, because I think that but like you said, you have to be ready, right? You have to be open for your F-bombs, first of all.
Yeah,
right?
It's not for everybody.
But I know a lot of people who don't want to own it. Like, they want to blame. They want it to be someone else's fault. They don't want to take accountability.
Yeah, they want to use the word fault. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody who is thinking about doing this program and they're on the fence?
You can't explain it in 2 minutes. It's something that I would sit down, like I told my best friend about it. And my best friend and her husband have been together for almost 8 years, and they have, like, watching all of this and doing the work, they have the most healthiest relationship I've ever seen.
That's great.
And I told her that, and she's like, really? So when I explain it to her, I have to have like at least an hour to explain to her how, and she's not, been through much trauma, so to speak. So how would I explain it? I think it's just taking care of yourself. It's more of a self-awareness and being able to move forward and be okay with yourself, and not make, and I think what's really important is not making, your childhood shit your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, having people look ahead to the front of your car instead of constantly looking in the rear.
Totally. That's exactly what it is.
So
thank you so much. What is up? If you are finally ready to learn how to take all of these concepts that I share in my content, in my podcasts, in my YouTube videos, my Facebook Lives, and learn how to integrate them and implement them through a series of neural exercises that teach you how to rewire your relationship with trauma, sex, and money, the things that are most argued about in relationship dynamics, you will absolutely love my upcoming 3-day intensive. Click that link below. It's coming up very soon. It is ideal for people who are nerds for neuroscience and want to rewire this conditioning of undeserving, of prosperity, abundance, and healthy sexuality. If we don't get to the conditioning, these unresolved faulty mechanisms play out in relational dynamics, creating insecure attachments, and unconsciously we are pushing prosperity and healthy sexuality away because of this mechanism of undeserving. If you want to learn how to shift it from an embodied perspective, follow the link below, and we'll see you at our next Rewire event coming really soon.